Hello and welcome to the channel. I hope you're all well. I hope some of you were brave enough to persevere with the recent video that I put out about downstream streamer fishing. Now today I'm going to tie the fly that was doing all the damage, and it is a mini minkie. Now it's called a minkie because it's mink, for no other reason. But this particular fly I used to use a lot at the end of the season, out of competition, on major reservoirs in the UK. And I've adapted it for the river simply by adding weight. So let's get straight into the tying. I have in the vise a size 10 heavy nymph hook and a 3.8 silver bead. So let's just mount the bead. Now the amount of weight that you put on is totally dependent upon where you're fishing it, the style of river, the depth of the water, the flow, etc. Now when I tied this for the river that I was fishing in the video, I didn't put any extra weight on it. It was just the 3.8 bead. So that's how I'm going to tie it today. Right. Now the thread I'm using is a light tan thread, and it is a 10-0. So I'm just building up a bit of a bed here down to the end of the hook shank. Right, now this is the mink zonka strip that I'll be using. It's just a plain colour, it's a natural colour, there's no dye in it at all. So I'm going to cut a piece off for the tail and tie that in. And when I say cut a piece off, I'm talking about without the skin, just the hair, or the fur, should I say. And I'm going to tie that in. Now the restrictions on the length of fly are quite strict in the UK for competition fishing, and that's why I was not able to use this outside of pleasure fishing. So there we have a small tail. Now for the body, I'm going to use a dubbing mix, and this is just simply the mink fur, and I've added some Spectra Flash to it, and it is number 91, which is a white and with green reflection. You can get them with different reflection. So I'm just going to dub this on. It's quite a simple tying. There's nothing clever about it, but hopefully you will have seen how effective this can be. Keep that tight while I'm winding it up. Which will need some more. Just tease that out a little bit. Carry on winding towards the bead. Just a little more dubbing, I think, just to fill the space there. There. Now you need to take your strip of mink and measure it up to the length that you want, which is normally the length of the shank and covering the tail. So we are looking at something like this. And then cut off the piece of fur and skin. And you should have something like this. And we'll tie that in at the front. Make sure that it stays on top and it's bound down really well. like so. Right, now I'm going to lift the skin or the zonker strip and wind back down to the rear of the shank, which will create a rib to just in front of the tail. And now we're going to tie in the zonker strip. So find the area where you're going to tie it in. It's good just to dampen the fur because it allows you to separate the areas. So I'm going to put 2 in there. Do the same thing again, halfway up. I'll put 1 in there. And then just before the end, I'm going to put in another tie, like so. And that's all there is to it. Very little. Right, now at the front, I'm going to use some plain minkie fur. And this has got quite large guard hairs in it. So they're going to be perfect to give it a bit of action at the front. I'm just going to dub that on. Wind on the fur. Pull back the fibres. Right, and we're going to tie off the fly, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue onto the thread. And tie it off. And trim up the tying thread. Right, now I'm going to brush out the collar. As you can see, there's plenty of hair at the front there. And I'm also going to just brush out the body just a little. There, and this will give it plenty of movement. It's a fairly simple tying, but if you've watched the video, you can see how successful it can be when fished downstream. I had a lot of success with it in still water when I used to fish it, although it was at the end of the season and it was imitating small pin fry. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Do subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for viewing. Bye.